Hey folks, this is Vince with Dad's Gaming Addiction, and welcome to episode 32 of the DGA podcast. I'm your host, Vince, and with me is...
Idly.
Ida Lee! Yes, she is an
Hello.
excellent co-host. Hi. So, we're going to do something a little different today. Well, maybe not a little different. Star Trek is a huge passion of mine. It's just something that I've always watched as a child, and this is something I could watch over and over again, no if, ands, or buts about it. And I've had Idly sit through so many Star Trek episodes. And recently, we've been binging Star Trek The Next Generation. That's the one with Captain Picard and Commander Riker and Data and Geordi and all them. And she's seen the episodes here and there, but she wanted to watch it from the beginning, chronologically from beginning to end. So we're on seasons 1 through 3, and then we are now on season 4. So we're up to there. And today we're going to talk about those episodes found in those seasons. It's not going to be like a top 5, but we will be talking about like our favorite episodes to date and possibly some other things that may have come up. So without further ado... Yes.
Oh my gosh, you actually got that.
I
sound
did grab
effect.
that, yes. We'll talk about that in a minute, but anytime you hear that noise, Captain Picard is going to butt in with a fun fact. I pulled a bunch of fun facts from a website. It's 80skids.com. And it's intergalactic facts about Star Trek The Next Generation. So I'll be quoting from that website, so just to give them credit, www.80skids.com. Anyway, so anytime you hear Picard clear his throat, just be on the lookout for some kind of cool
Fun
fact.
fact. Okay.
Yes.
Is there a quiz in this? I hope there is.
There is no quiz. It's just a bunch of fun facts. I was thinking of doing the quiz after the second part. Next month, when we do podcast 33, that's going to be part 2 of this. We'll go through seasons 4 through 7, and maybe we'll do a nice general quiz there.
Okay.
But I am not prepared.
I wish I had the sound effect that goes like dun 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 boom.
You're
Sorry.
talking about
555.
No, that's not it.
No, not Alf. That one. Yes. No quiz. Sad face.
Yes. All right.
There was no joke there. I don't get it.
Anyway, speaking of jokes, let's go into the podcast. Full swing.
Oh.
Wait, hold on. That deserves a...
Okay.
Okay. Everyone listening? All right, great. That's wonderful. All right, wonderful. Yes, all right. Off we go. All right,
Now
Star
you're just
Trek.
spamming at this
I'm
point.
just, yes. I'm pressing buttons at this point. Okay. So, first episode, Star Trek The Next Generation, Season 1, very first episode. Encounter at Farpoint was a 2-parter episode. Now, we're not going to touch on every single episode. We just don't have the time. I guess we'll just give it a yay-nay. Did you actually like the very first episode? That was where they first met Q. That was my favorite part. I could care less about the floating cap with the jellyfish. The space jellyfish, as you call them, I could care less. But I liked the whole Q encounter, and that was when he was putting humanity on trial. It was kind of cool. But did you care for it at all?
It was okay.
It was okay.
It was just okay.
Okay. That's fine. Let's move on to the next. We're off to a great start. No, this is
So
good.
you liked it? You really is that like your favorite?
Didn't. I will be honest. The first season was shaky for me. There were only a couple of episodes that I really liked. So we're going to be skipping past a lot of these episodes. And to be fair, like Star Trek Season 1, Next Gen Season 1, that's when they were still trying to find their footing. In fact...
You should have done top 5. Oh my gosh.
Top 5 what?
We should the top 5 worst episodes of Star Trek.
Hey, we could still do that. I'm not opposed to that. But Picard just cleared his throat just now.
Oh, fun fact.
Fun facts. So, actor LeVar Burton, who played Geordi LaForge, said that throughout the first season of the show, he often found himself sitting quietly with no lines or any real acting to do. As a result, he had a tendency to fall asleep on set, which nobody noticed since his eyes were already covered by his visor.
Wow.
Yeah, I thought that. Well, and remember in the first season, he had the red jumpsuit instead of the yellow one. He wasn't chief engineer at that time. He was
Yeah.
Lieutenant Junior Grade LaForge on sitting where Wesley sat. Anyway, so yeah, that's fun fact there.
That's hilarious.
Sure. All right, so moving on to the next episode, The Naked Now. Did you have anything to say about The Naked Now besides...
That was one of my favorite scenes. It really was. That and Data getting it on with Tasha.
That was a follow-up to the original series episode, The Naked Time, where Kirk, Spock, McCoy, and them all succumbed to the whole drunk virus, as they called it. So, yeah, it's very similar here. I mean, I didn't really care for the episode. It was just, oh, now this person's drunk. Oh, now this person's drunk. It was the Space Roofies episode, I guess.
Yeah. I liked it because it was kind of silly in the sense that there was, like, I guess orgies going on everywhere. But
yeah,
it was also kind of morbid, too. Like, that one ship that just, like, blew up all of a sudden just because of their drunken decisions. It was really scary, to be honest.
The ship in the beginning, yeah. So it was okay, but was that one of your favorites though?
It was.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Even as really? Was it the plot or just you just enjoyed watching the actors go outside of their? Because well, here's the thing. This was the second episode, so like people watching Star Trek: The Next Generation for the first time when they saw this episode. This was not outside the comfort zone because they had no basis for comparison at that point. You know what I mean? So, like, I feel like this would have been a better episode to introduce later when the characters had found their footing. Does that make any sense? But I feel like it's a free-for-all at that point.
I just liked it. I liked the plot. I really liked the whole idea of space roofies. And I thought they did an amazing job with it. I loved Picard's acting in it. Like, Beverly and him Beverly and him had such a, like, spicy scene. I felt like I was there, and I was, like, really uncomfortable, but it was good.
All right, well, let's
rock and roll.
Yeah, and move on to, I guess, the next one here. Code of Honor. That was... I'm reading now. I don't remember. Oh, that was the one where it was like... The entire planet was like this African-American tribe. And
Tasha had a crush on him.
Yeah, they captured her. The head guy captured her. She had a crush because he was alpha male or whatever. And then the two ladies, Tasha and the other head honcho chick, fought at the end and with the hand gloves with the spikes on them.
Yeah.
No.
I hated that episode.
All right, awesome. Moving on. The Last Outpost, that was their first introduction to the Ferengi. That's where it was sort of, this reminded me of the Star Trek, the original series episode called Arena, where Kirk and the Enterprise and then the Gorn, where they were chasing the Gorn and both of their ships got caught in some kind of powerful beam. And then a powerful being, the Metrons, beamed Kirk and the Captain Gorn down to the planet, and they battled it out, hand-to-hand combat. In this, it was very similar, where the Enterprise D and the Ferengi ship were sort of seized by a higher power, and they beamed down and confronted it together, kind of thing. And there was also Armin Shimmerman, who played Quark. In Deep Space Nine, he was one of the Ferengi in this, which was he always made a good Ferengi, Armin Shimmerman. But anyway, fun fact. I'm looking for. Okay, so as surprising as it may sound, the comical Ferengi were initially supposed to be a legitimate threat to the crew of the Enterprise. And they would have gone on to become the most commonly reoccurring enemies on the show. That all fell apart when audiences met the aliens and decided they were too hilarious looking to be scary.
That's funny.
So yeah, the Ferengi were actually like slated to be the head villains of the show, but no one could
like the
take them.
Romulans or something.
Well, the Romulans were always nasty because they were from the original series, so
Mm-hmm.
people knew about the Romulans. But yeah, the people here brought in the Ferengi as the main villains, and then no one took them seriously. So
Yeah.
eventually, they just became this comical, like core.
Humans.
Yeah, basically humans.
They don't even say they don't they don't say humans. They say humans.
Humans, yes. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Umox and yeah, all that good stuff.
I didn't really actually like this episode, to be honest.
Yeah,
I think
I didn't. The Ferengi were way over. Remember, there was some parts of the like they were still figuring out the camera work, and
Mhm.
every shot of the Ferengi on the
Yeah.
view screen was a close up of the eyeball of the Ferengi. Or like, I'm like, what are you doing? Why is the Enterprise
Yeah.
screen showing like the front teeth? Like, yes, you've clearly got the teeth down. They're
Mhm.
pointy, they're shiny, but why are we getting a close up of his canines? I don't get it.
Yeah.
So,
It was kind of odd.
yeah, so the camera work here left much to be desired, but anyway, yeah.
I just didn't like how I wish there was a different way of meeting the Ferengi for the first time. I feel like this was such a generic, like any race could have been like, stuck with Picard in a crazy looking tractor beam. I don't know, I wish it was a little bit more Ferengi-esque.
I still think that this was they were doing the Naked Time and then the
Hmm.
Naked Now. Again, Naked Now was original series.
Hmm.
They had the same thing going here, like I said, with the whole mysterious race. We've never met the Ferengi before. Just like with the
Hmm.
Gorn with Kirk, they've never
Yeah.
met the Gorn before. So like I feel like someone was taking episodes from the original series and trying to relate them to Next Generation so that people had a way to, I don't know, relate to the original series and not get lost. I don't know. But that's why I think they did it. I'm just spitballing here.
Hmm.
But anyway, enough about humans and the Ferengi. Where no one has gone before. That was where Wesley Crusher
With the
befriends the
time traveler.
yeah, he befriends the
Oh,
time
okay.
traveler, and the Enterprise, unknowns to everyone else, was just sort of the time traveler was using his powers to help his assistant or the master, whatever, reach certain warp speeds or become more efficient, whatever. But they ended up traveling halfway across the galaxy, and I thought it was a cool story. I like the idea that where sometimes where they ended up, whatever they thought became true. And
Hmm.
again, that also ties back to another episode of the original series, Shore Leave, where Kirk and Spock and McCoy beams down and Sulu beams down. McCoy sees the White Rabbit from Alice in Wonderland, just having thought of it, and he was running after it or like confused, like what in the world. So like again, we're taking the writers here were like taking ideas from the original series and sort of throwing it into the next gen. Did you
Hmm.
like Where No One Has Gone Before?
It
Or
was okay.
it was okay.
No, there were scenes that I really, really enjoyed, like when they were in the very last part where there was like a huge blue
Hmm.
area, no stars.
Right. And there was
I
those
liked
white things floating around everywhere. Yeah.
hmm
Hmm.
I liked that the guy kind of, became humble at the end. That was kind of a good kick in the face.
Right. The one that was like, "Oh yeah, I can do anything. Oh yeah, it's my
Hmm.
my equations, my this." And here the traveler assistant was doing all the work all along.
Yeah.
And this was where it
Hmm.
was first hinted that Wesley would do great things. The
Hmm.
traveler was like, "Picard, keep an eye on him, nurture him, do what you need to do." Kind of.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Yeah, I liked that connection.
Hmm.
But other than that, I didn't really care for the episode just because I don't know. I just didn't.
Nope, fair enough. Next was Lonely Among Us. I am looking here. Uh,
That's isn't that the one where
oh, this
Picard went
the
to the holodeck?
Data investigates the murder of This was where the two different delegates come on board. I didn't care for this one, to be honest with you. There was like the the Soleil and the Antikins. They were like these aliens that were like diplomatically, hostile toward each other. And like you said, Picard at the end, like there was this electric shock that was all over the ship, and then Picard ends up beaming himself into the cloud, and then I could care less about this one. I'm fine to move on. Justice was the next one in season 1. Again, I'm sort of reading the plot because I don't have them all memorized, but
I'm shocked you're not a true Star Trek
fan. Not this one. This is the capital punishment episode where they Wesley beams down, does a dive into the flower bed, and they want to put him to death. Yeah, everyone's half naked. This is what Risa wanted to be. I don't know. It's just the Edo, the ship, the whole Edo ship in orbit thing was cool, mysterious ship, but the whole planet thing with Wesley and everyone, it was just an orgy, like you said. It was just one big. Look, we're showing some skin episode. I could care less about this one. Next.
Yeah, I didn't like that one either, honestly. I didn't like the ship in orbit. I didn't like any of it, to be honest.
Understandable. The battle, that was where the Ferengi brought the Stargazer, which was Picard's former ship, back to him, and then put this in the captain of that ship. I can't remember his name. It was a Ferengi, Damon Bach. He put a mind control device on board and was tormenting Picard and into attacking the Enterprise with the Stargazer. It was okay. I think it could have been better. Honestly, I could have.
Yeah, it could have. I enjoyed it though. I liked seeing Captain Picard's vulnerability. I guess I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, in the first season, he was picked on a lot.
Was he?
Well, he was beamed into a cloud because he turned into, that electric entity took control of him. Anyway, the next one is Hyde and Q. I loved this episode. That's where he offers the power of Q to Riker. And we watch Riker's transformation throughout the episode, like, now I've got these powers, look how powerful I am, look what I can do for the crew. And then everyone at the end of the episode was like, no, I'm not going to accept your gifts because you're changing and, you need to say no, blah, blah, blah. And Riker realizes what a dumbass he's been, kind of thing.
I'm surprised because I remember when we actually skipped like maybe a couple episodes.
We only skipped this because we had watched it so recently. I liked it, but I've seen it 15 times. I don't need to see it a 16th time. I just know it by heart at this point. The animal play things with the muskets and,
I might have to watch it on my own time because I only remember like the ending and a little bit of the beginning, but I don't remember. There was the part where, spoiler alert, by the way.
This is all spoiler. I mean, this show was, if I were to look, it's 1987. So if you haven't watched Star Trek The Next Generation by now, I don't know what to do for you.
It's the part where Worf and Wesley dies. I don't remember that.
No, they didn't. Well, yeah, they were. Riker was hesitant to use his power. Q forced him into a situation where he beamed the entire bridge crew down, and they were under attack by those animal things. And Worf and Wesley went in there, and they got stabbed by those the bayonets, and Riker ended up saving them. That's what forced Riker to use his power. Okay. And then after that, Riker went downhill.
Okay.
But yeah, that was Hyde and Q.
I vaguely remember it, but I thought I remember thinking that Riker was just being sarcastic just to appease Q. So I didn't know he actually was like into his powers until the very, 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 very end.
Oh, he was. He got really flippant with Picard. He would call him John Luke to his face as opposed to Captain. He was
I thought he was just like being sarcastic, like just trying to fake it with like to appease Q so that he could leave him alone. I didn't know until like way at the end. Like when the episode was over.
There was a real threat there. Well, I mean, it's a fantasy threat, but so it goes. Okay, so that, you know what that sound means. Okay, so funny thing. Do you know who George R.R. Martin is?
Isn't he like a Star Trek or Star Wars creator or something?
He created Game of Thrones.
Yes, him.
At least I'm pretty sure. Do I have that right, people?
Let's see.
I'm pretty sure Game of Thrones.
George R. Martin. Yes.
Yes, I thought so. Yeah, I have.
Oh, he quit. He quit the last season of Game of Thrones because the other two writers or whatever messed it all up.
I didn't know that.
Or something like that.
Well, no, George R. Martin was originally rejected to sort of like write for the show. One of the producers rejected George R. Martin as
Oh wow.
yeah, and it was because the producer had the completely wrong idea about the show. The producer pitched the new Star Trek series as a people story, which had very little to do with sci-fi dressing, according to the producer. So like this producer, ignorant of Star Trek, was like, no, this is more of a people story. George R. Martin is more of a fantasy sci-fi writer. He wouldn't be good for this show. And then it just turned out, well, no, Star Trek really is a sci-fi show with aliens and all sorts of stuff. I mean, obviously, George R. Martin went on to create Game of Thrones and write those books, but he was successful regardless. But, like, I'm just saying, like, it's just fun fact. I mean, George R. Martin could have been, one of the writers or makers of the show, which I thought was really cool.
So whatever happened to that producer who fired him? Like, was he like always in Star Trek?
The article didn't say.
Sad.
Yeah. Again, 80skids.com. This is where I'm getting that from.
I see.
Yep. So, speaking of, why not do another one?
All right.
So how about, okay. Gene Roddenberry originally wanted Data to be the chief science officer in order to mimic Spock in the original series, in which his relationship with Captain Kirk was the center of the show. Data's dynamic with Picard was supposed to echo that relationship, and so it only made sense to make him chief science officer too. This is especially true given that the character of Data started as a blend of two previous ideas of Roddenberry's, an android studying humanity and a Vulcan curious about emotions. Unfortunately, in the end, it transpired that Data just couldn't have the position of chief science officer simply because the blue uniform clashed horribly with his android makeup. Gold looked much better, so Data became chief operations officer instead.
Wow.
Fun fact. So he was supposed to be like, Kirk, Spock, Picard, Data. That's how it was. And to be fair, Picard, Data still had that relationship regardless of the whole first officer thing. So it worked out anyway. I just thought that was interesting.
Yeah, it is.
Anyway, Haven was the next episode. That was episode 11, season 1. Arranged marriage. That's where we met Waxana Troy for the first time.
Yeah.
I could care less. I mean, it was cool that we were introduced to Waxana Troy. Majel Barrett, the actor, that was the wife of Gene Roddenberry. She was also the voice of the ship's computer in the original series and Nurse Chapel. So anyway.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, Nurse Chapel in the original series, the Enterprise computer in both series. Anyway. I could care less about the whole arranged marriage thing, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So, all right. Next up, The Big Goodbye. That was a cool episode that explored the holodeck. That's where Picard, Data, Beverly, and a red shirt went in there.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And they were trapped in the holodeck for a brief time in the Dixon Hill whole scenario. That was okay. I didn't mind it. It was cool to see something other than the Enterprise. And I like holodeck episodes because anything can happen. And then when the whole safeties go off and anything can happen and people can get hurt, that's kind of cool. I like that idea. But it was an okay episode. Data Lore, one of my favorite episodes of the first season. We were introduced to Data's brother Lore. You have some different opinions on Lore. You hate him, don't you?
I don't like Lore.
Why?
I wish Data was an only child.
Really?
Yeah, when I first thought he was an only child, I felt such a connection to him. And then it turned out he had a brother, and I'm like, oh, I don't have a brother. I don't have a sister. I don't have any siblings. No, but I just don't like Lore. I feel like it clashes. Like, that character clashes quite a bit.
Really? I mean, is he not a good villain? I mean, do you not see him as a good villain, or?
Here's the thing. I'm gonna get so much hate for this, but there is such a thing as too much Data, I think.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
But I love Data. He's my favorite character. But seeing him also play Data, Lore, and
Dr. Noonien Soong. Yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's a bit much. It's like, oh my gosh.
Well, Brent Spiner has he's a great actor.
He's a great actor.
Right.
Yes.
So I don't mind him doing all those roles. I liked Data Lore because it explored Data's backstory. It explained who Dr. Noonien Soong was. It introduced a villain, Data's brother. Imagine someone as smart and as strong and as just as good as Data, but that has evil intentions. Data can by himself outwit and outfight anyone on the Enterprise. Now to have an evil android that can do the same thing, I just thought that was a great villain. I really enjoyed that.
I feel like that's the thing. Like, if Data's so strong, to have this other android who's imperfect, but at the same time elevates Data so much in such an evil sense, I feel like he could crush the Enterprise. He could crush any ship. And it's so, like, unrealistic. I get it. It's sci-fi. It's not supposed to be realistic. But common sense would say that, like, Laura would completely just blow the Enterprise away. Or
well, he almost did.
Anyone else.
He befriended the crystalline entity, knocked out Data, and was trying. It was Wesley, which I can't believe I completely forgot about this.
Shut up, Wesley.
Shut up, Wesley.
That was the episode. Wesley was trying to warn everyone. Hey, this is war.
Yeah.
Hey, guys.
Shut
hey,
up, Wesley.
Shut up, Wesley.
Shut up, Wesley.
Yeah. So, yeah, that was Data Lore. Fun fact. When Patrick Stewart, who's Picard, sat down for his first table read, he addressed Brent Spiner's character Data. When he did so, he pronounced it the British way, saying the name as Data. The table read carried on as normal, but Stewart had actually just made a choice that would affect more than just the show. Unbeknownst to Stewart, Roddenberry had actually meant for Data's name to reflect the American pronunciation of the word. It should have been read as Data, but as it wasn't written anywhere in the script, Stewart simply did what was natural for him.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I think that's so interesting because in one episode with the new doctor, she refers to him as Data. He's like, that's not my name.
Pulaski. Yep, exactly.
Yeah. That's funny.
All right. Awesome stuff. It's cool reading about these for the first time because, like, All right. Anyway, Angel 1, pass. That was the planet. That was the episode where Riker just changes into this revealing chest hair shirt thing, and the women. It was that women planet.
Oh, when he sleeps with the woman leader.
Yes,
the woman leader.
I could care less about this one. It was the one part where the ladies were laughing at him for his shirt and his hairy chest. That was fine, but like everything else, screw that. Next episode 11001001. That was where the Binars took over the Enterprise to try and save their planet, and they constructed Manuet in the holodeck to distract Riker, to at least until they managed to get Riker there to help him out. Did you care for that one? I thought it was good.
I loved this one.
Did you like the Minuet character more, or just the whole premise of, everyone was evacuated, it's Picard and Riker alone on the ship trying to find out what's going on?
She was intriguing. I wish, no offense to her, I'm sure she's a great actress, but I kind of wish they had another person playing that character. I feel like, I don't know, I feel like it didn't jive well with Riker. But I loved the Binars. I thought they were so cool. I wanted to see more of them in other episodes.
Really? They were just finishing each other's sentences, or?
I liked them finishing each other's sentences. I liked their, like, you couldn't even understand them. They were so cute.
Do we need to make one of those soothing tapes for you so that when you go to bed at night, that's what you fall asleep to? I mean...
No.
All right. Just if it came to that, then we would have to talk. Okay.
I love the binars. I wish there were more of them, to be honest. But yeah, it was cool.
Okay. Too short a season. That's the episode where the Admiral comes on board, the old one, and he takes a drug that makes him younger in order to deal with his arch rival from 20, 30, 40 years ago, whatever it was. Do you remember that one?
Yes, I do. That was tragic.
It was tragic. I could care less about the episode, but it was interesting.
Yeah, the story was good. It dragged on though. I think the direction of that show is a little bit meh. But
yeah, same.
I liked the plot. It was pretty good.
There was When the Buff Breaks.
When the Bow Breaks.
When the Bow Breaks. Okay, sorry. I don't even know what that is. Okay. That's when the adults capture some of the children because they can't procreate.
Oh, that was tragic too. I liked that one.
It was I mean, now that I'm a parent, like when I watched it as a kid, I could care less. It was boring. No fighting, no nothing. I was bored. But now that I'm a parent, I can appreciate it a bit more. So I would say this one's okay. Still not my favorite, but okay.
I really liked this one just because Wesley actually took the reins on this, I think.
I still think the ending was the best when the little girl comes on the bridge and she hugs Picard, and then she leaves her toy, a little looks like a tribble, on him by accident, and the whole bridge crew is laughing at him. I just thought that was nice.
That was cute. I liked the little boy who had a rough time with his real dad, and he liked living with these other people. That kind of made it tragic, you know?
It did.
Yeah. But
agreed.
It's okay.
Home soil. That's where ugly bags of mostly water, where the crystal on the planet is actually a life form.
Oh, yeah.
It commandeered a laser to kill someone, a scientist, and then attack Data with it. It was okay. I could have cared less about this one, to be honest, but it was okay.
I liked the plot. Again, it was kind of boring, but I did like the plot and stuff. But
Coming of age. This is where Wesley Crusher takes a Starfleet exam. He meets Mendon, the Benzite, the one with the breathing apparatus, and two other. One was a Vulcan, one was a human woman, and he was taking tests trying to get admitted into Starfleet Academy. In the meantime, Quinn and Remick board the Enterprise and are investigating them to see if anything amiss was going on, because there was some kind of conspiracy, but they wanted to make sure the Enterprise was safe. I like this. It was a precursor to Conspiracy, which is an episode in season 1 coming up.
Yeah. It was okay. It was kind of interesting to see Wesley like getting tested on with all these other like geniuses, I guess.
I liked it.
It's cute to see his little first crush. It was so adorable.
She said I was cute.
That was cute.
Yeah. Heart of Glory. 3 Klingons come on board. He ends up killing all of them because they try to take over the Enterprise. It was... Didn't really care for the episode too much. Arsenal...
Oh.
Do you remember that one?
Okay. Yeah.
Arsenal of Freedom. That was one of my favorite episodes for this season. That was the planet where there was the weapon that had destroyed the planet. They beam down. Riker gets encased in a stasis field. Picard and Beverly beam down. They fall into a hole. Beverly's hurt. And they're trying to argue with this computer, trying to get it to turn off before it kills the Enterprise and everything else. Geordi ends up taking command of the Enterprise and tries to fight off this weapon at the same time. Lots of action in this one. The kid in me was happy when I watched it. But I really like this one.
I liked this one because it kind of delved a little bit into Beverly's story, you know?
She talks about her background, and, you know, her grandmother was a botanist and... you know, taught her the ways of the medicine kind of thing.
Yeah, that was kind of nice.
Symbiosis. That was... oh, gosh. What was this one? Magnetic field, planet. I don't know what this one is. Oh, this is stupid. This is where the drug-addicted people... There was 2 planets.
Oh.
One was drug-addicted, the other one had the drug. But it was an import-export drug thing.
Is
And
this the one where he put his hand on Riker and
Riker
Riker made
is,
that really funny face?
yeah, yeah.
That made me
This
laugh.
is stupid. I mean, again, I think this is one of those episodes where I think Roddenberry was trying to push human issues, real life issues, drugs, and all that. Like,
Yeah.
look, this is a real thing. It's actually happening, and let's tell the story through Star Trek because that's what the show is about. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
don't mind that. I'm just saying that's what I feel like that episode was.
Mm-hmm.
Skin of Evil, tragic episode with Tasha Yar and that skin creature Armis. What did you think of that one?
Which one's this one?
Where Tasha dies?
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. I remember.
That was a really good episode. It was. I mean, it felt like. I mean, had I known what like Game of Thrones and The Walking Dead were at the time, no one in Star Trek ever dies. So, like, there's no. I mean, none of the main characters. So it's like there's no real threat anywhere, right? But now Tasha's dead. So I'm like, wait a minute. So people do die in this show? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it was like, wow, I wasn't expecting that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I like that this Armis was playing with the Enterprise crew the entire time, messing with their heads, and and he sucked Riker into the pit. I don't have it here, but I remember seeing a documentary where Riker was telling the story of him being, pulled into this tar, and it took hours to get the tar off of him. It was actually him doing that. And
Yeah. It says right here there's no oxygen tank, so he had to actually hold his breath well under the surface of the oil. Like, that's so
yes, it
dangerous.
is. Agreed.
What the heck?
So,
It's a water soluble. Okay. Dyed black. That's so crazy.
still though, I mean, it's ridiculous.
I thought it was okay. I remember watching it for the first time with you at the old house, and I was like, "Oh my God, that's crazy!" I so enjoyed it. Watching it again a second time, it was like, okay, it was pretty good.
Yeah, it didn't resonate as much as the first time. Yeah.
Like it felt shorter, to be honest.
Well, that's because you knew what was going to happen. Like
Yeah,
the
kind of.
big hit had already hit you. Like, you know what I mean? Like the big takeaway, Tasha dying, that had already
Yeah.
hit. So now it becomes a regular episode at that point.
Mm-hmm.
We'll always have Paris as the next episode. That's what time travel. Not, it was where there was that time loop, and then people were repeating themselves, and Data had to beam down and put the antimatter in the hole. And then Picard's love interest from a long time ago came on board, and he was battling that. It was okay. I like the time travel bit or the time loop thing, but it was done better later on.
Oh, yeah, yeah, it was. Okay. Yeah, it was okay.
Yep. Conspiracy. That was the follow up to the other episode where
Oh,
Remick.
yeah.
It was disgusting. That was like real alien stuff. Like the whole at the end of the episode, they were the people were grabbing the worms and eating them, and then Riker and Picard blasted Remy and his head exploded. Like that was definitely. I can't imagine that was a Gene Roddenberry decision, but
Yeah.
anyway.
I liked it. I thought it was really creepy. It reminded me of those old 80s movies.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty good.
Very campy kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it was good. I like I'm glad this is one of the first episodes that actually followed up from a pre-existing episode. You know what I mean? Like there was a conspiracy going on in the one episode, and now this conspiracy is finally resolving. Why did where did this conspiracy come from, and how do they deal with it? I like that. Last but not least, there was the neutral zone. That's where they found those 3 humans in stasis from a long time ago. They woke them up. And this was like their first dealings with the Romulans for several years or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And it was okay.
They could have done so much more for that one. I was so disappointed.
And Gul Dukat was one of the Romulans, I think. The actor, Mark Alamo or whatever his name is. He was the actor that played Gul Dukat in Deep Space Nine. He was the Major Cardassian there. But he also had many appearances in The Next Generation. He was one of the Romulans in this episode. It was okay. I could have cared less about this one, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I feel like they had great actors for this one, and I don't know, I feel like it hit the mark. I wish the culture shock was even more shocking, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But it's okay.
Fair enough. Let's go ahead and... Okay, so as regarding the first season, everything was sort of low budget because they didn't really know how the show was going to do. Everything about the transporter room was done as cheaply as possible. For example, the ceiling of the transporter chamber in the Next Gen is actually just the floor of the transport chamber from the Enterprise in the original series.
Oh, wow.
And not only that, but the transport special effect was actually done by stirring glitter in water, which was then filmed and added in over shots of the actors standing in place. So they had no CGI. It was just, they used glitter and water for the transport effect.
That's so cool.
Mm-hmm. So, and thus concludes season 1.
Mm-hmm. 2 more seasons.
2 more seasons. Okay, so season 2. We may have to make this a 3-part thing because we're already 30-40 minutes in and we're only on season 2. I didn't think we'd be talking this much, honestly, but that's awesome. Season 2, episode 1. The Child, where space alien impregnates Troy. The child grows up quickly and sacrifices itself for the ship. Mm-hmm. Didn't care.
I liked it, honestly.
Really?
Yeah, I actually really liked it. At first, I didn't like it because I didn't want Deanna to get pregnant by anyone other than Riker, but, you know, that was just the fan in me. But it was pretty sad. It was good. I liked it.
As a woman, it hit you in the feels, or
it did. It really did.
Gotcha. I could understand that.
When the boy dies too at the end, that killed me.
Mm-hmm. That's understandable. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Where Silence has lease, one of my favorite episodes of season 2. That's where Nagilum, who is this advanced creature, traps the Enterprise in this blue-black void and is like making them run all sorts of different things, like an experiment, like you know, just testing them. Like, oh, here's a Romulan ship, deal with that. Oh, here's an exact copy of your ship. Riker and Worf beams aboard. They think they're entering the bridge, but they're entering another bridge, and it's like it's all over the place. But I really liked it because it was just a creature messing with the Enterprise for 45 minutes. And at the end, I love the scene where Picard goes to blow up the entire ship. Troy and Data walk in and are like, why are you doing this? What is the meaning of life? And Picard explains life as he sees it. I thought that was really, it was like psychological and spiritual moment in that show, and it turned out Nagilum was impersonating them, trying to get more information. It was an excellent episode. I really liked this one.
I hated this one.
You hated it. Why is that?
I hated it because it kind of contradicted to what Q was. You know, like it doesn't make any sense for an all-powerful being to do all these things and then have Q. Like who's the one in the backseat? Is it this being or is it Q?
Q had nothing to do with this episode.
I know, but I'm saying if there is, like, I want to know how many like powerful beings there are, and for there to be like 2 in one galaxy, like surrounding the Enterprise, just doesn't make sense.
I think Q could wipe the floor with Nagilum. I'm just saying.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, Nagilum only had power inside that void. You know what I mean? It was like his world. It's like, I don't know, Picard entered his world, got out of it. I don't think Nagilum is as big as of a threat anywhere else, to be honest with you. I wish there was a follow-up to that episode, to be honest.
But when they continued, he still showed up and he was talking to Picard.
Yeah, and the view screen there, or on his ready room console. Yeah.
I don't know. I hated this episode.
Okay, that's fair enough. One thing we didn't mention was that Pulaski made her debut here in season 2. Gates McFadden, Dr. Beverly Crusher, left the show. The reason for that, when signing her contract, McFadden was promised that her character would evolve into a love interest and foil for Captain Picard. As the first season progressed and no story beats emerged that seemed to point in that direction for either of their characters, McFadden grew increasingly frustrated and declared that she would be leaving Star Trek. unbeknownst to her, McFadden's permanent break from the Enterprise turned out to be temporary. Because Diana Muldaur, who's Dr. Pulaski, decided that television wasn't the direction she wanted to take her career in after all. So basically, Pulaski came aboard for one season, season 2, decided that TV wasn't for her, and then they asked McFadden to come back. She said no. Then Patrick Stewart made a plea for her to come back, and she said yes.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so that was the story behind the Dr. Crusher hiatus for season 2. Otherwise, Pulaski could have been the permanent Doctor had she wanted the job, you know?
Wow, that's like mind-blowing to me, honestly, because I liked Beverly, I really did. Mm-hmm. And I liked Pulaski too, I really did, but Beverly, she was like, you know, she's Picard's, she's Wesley's mom, you know?
Well, there's a history there. I mean, Picard, you know, and, you know, sent Jack on an away mission or whatever, and he died, and Picard came back and Jack didn't, and there's a huge history there with the Crushers and Picard. So, like,
yeah.
I thought that was better. I think I liked Pulaski's character. She reminded me more of Dr. McCoy from the original series. She was more like rough, tough, and like no nonsense, old school. You know, I'll tell you how it is kind of thing. Whereas Dr. Crusher was more, I guess, gentle. You know, no less skilled, but just it was different. Their personalities were very different. I thought Pulaski was more of like a Dr. McCoy character, which I liked.
Yeah, Pulaski and Picard had she was like a female Picard almost.
Yeah, she was very, very alpha woman for Picard, I think.
I liked her too. I don't think anyone would disagree with liking her, to be honest.
No, I agree. Okay, so moving on to the next one. Elementary Dear Data. That's where, as you said, I think, was it Pulaski that called him Data here? It may have been. Anyway, Pulaski, Geordi and Data go on the holodeck to investigate Sherlock Holmes, because that's Data's passions.
Yeah.
And Geordi gets frustrated because Data has them all memorized, all the stories memorized, and ruins and spoils the story every time. And Geordi was like, all right, we need to program the computer so that Data's challenged. So let's go ahead and create a character that has the potential and is possible to defeat Data. And instead of saying Sherlock Holmes, which is what Data's character is, he says Data, and then the computer creates an actual character in the holodeck that can defeat Data. And that creates Moriarty, who is this real threat to the Enterprise now. So that was an interesting episode. I like that one. I mean, I think the Sherlock Holmes thing could have been done better. I wanted more mystery there, more clues, you know, like an actual Sherlock Holmes thing, but...
Absolutely.
Yeah. I feel
Oh, sorry. No, go ahead.
No, go ahead. No, go ahead. No, I was just going to repeat what I just said about, like, you know, when I think Sherlock Holmes, I think, you know, plot within plot within plot, and then these clues to reveal. I wanted more depth to the mystery, and I didn't get that here.
You wanted like a clue.
I wanted I wanted a Sherlock Holmes movie. You know what I mean? And I didn't get that. It was just Data in Sherlock Holmes garb and Geordi just tagging along. I didn't really care for that. But
I liked it because LaForge made a huge mistake, and I don't like LaForge.
You don't like LaForge? Why?
I just don't. I think he's so annoying. He's such an annoying character. I can't stand him. Oh, here we go.
Yeah. Despite seemingly relatively pedestrian compared to some of the intricate prosthetics other alien characters were required to wear, the visor's wraparound design meant that it put pressure on Burton's temples, making it uncomfortable to wear. This problem only got worse as the visor was upgraded to bulkier and more advanced models throughout the show's numerous seasons, with some versions requiring actual screws to keep the headgear from slipping down on Burton's face. So he had headaches for this entire show, if it makes you feel any better. And he couldn't see on top of it. The visor actually prevented him from seeing. He would bump into stuff all the time, which is ironic because he's supposed to be wearing a device that lets him see, and the actual actor is blind wearing this thing. You know what I mean? It's just funny. But anyway, so yeah, fun fact. The outrageous Icona. That's where Data wants to learn humor. goes to the holodeck and calls upon a holographic comedian. I don't remember who it was, but
oh yeah.
And in the meantime, this like rogue like Han Solo comes on board and like woos all the female crew members, and I hated the episode. It was one of the worst ones, I thought. Do you remember this one at all?
Yes, I do. I liked the B plot, which is Data trying to find the humor.
Right.
And I actually liked his interactions with Guinan. I think Guinan has great dialogue choices with everyone.
Well, she's like, even though Counselor Troy is the counselor, she is like the old mother hen that knows everything and the wise one of the group, and she's got the answers for every life situation.
Yeah, I wish, again, this is kind of like a Minuet. I wish she was played by someone else, because, I don't know, it doesn't fit with me for some reason. I wish Guinan was played by, like, an older person.
An older person?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Just to kind of, like, reiterate that they're so old, because Guinan's supposed to be like, what, 1,000 years old or something?
Yeah, her race, the Elorians, they're a race of listeners, and they're very old. Yes, they grew up to she's lived a very, very long time.
Yeah, so I just wish it was an older person that, I think it would have.
Could you imagine if it was someone like Christopher Walken or something?
You want everything and everyone to be played by Christopher Walken.
Well, I'm just saying. Wow. The Enterprise, it's crazy.
Oh, that woman from Deep Space Nine. What's the mean witch, the nun sort of looking woman?
Oh, I know who you're talking about. Kai Wynn.
Is that her name?
Well, the evil one. She was she's like one of the priestesses of Bajor. That one, Kai Wynn.
Kai Wynn? Wynn Adami?
Adami was her first name, yes.
Oh, okay.
But Kai Wynn,
I think she would have been a great Guinan.
Really?
I would have loved to see that. She's always a villain in everything, but I think I would have loved to see her play Guinan.
Okay.
Or I don't know. Or even Cisco. I think he would have been a great Guinan.
Okay, if you say so. I mean, hey, Gilbert Godfrey would have made a great Guinan, I think.
You can't give advice. You can't give advice going, wow.
Yeah.
I can't even try. You know what they always say. No.
Anyway. Loud as a Whisper. That's the episode where he was a diplomat, but he couldn't speak. He was deaf, and he had those three people translating for him, and they all die. And now the translator is trying to talk through Troy or Data, kind of thing. Mm-hmm. It was okay. I didn't really care for that one, to be honest.
I loved that one. I loved the connection with Troy and that man. Oh, it was so steamy. It was so romantic.
Really? Steamy.
Yeah.
Steamy.
I thought it was, just the fact that he can't even speak and the looks that they gave each other. Oh my gosh, the sparks, dude.
Okay.
He would have been a great Riker.
The Shizoid Man. Next, I'm kidding. Is just an episode where what's his face? Ira Graves, Dr. Ira Graves, dies and imports himself into Data for a little bit. And he pretends to be, he lives through Data. Ooh. That was an okay one.
I liked that one a lot.
Yeah. It was more sad than scary, to be honest. A dying man trying to live the rest of his life through an android kind of thing. Mm-hmm. It was okay.
It was so, silly and funny and interesting to see Data completely out of character.
To love him is to know him, and to know him is to love him.
That was pretty
Those hilarious. Who loved him knew him, and those who knew him loved him. Yeah. Ugh.
I liked it. I thought that was a good one.
Okay. Unnatural Selection. That's where Pulaski contracts the virus and she gets really old, along with the rest of the outpost. Mm-hmm. And they have to figure out what's causing it.
Yeah.
That was just a doctor fix a cure episode kind of thing. It was okay.
I feel kind of sad for the ending of that one.
Because the kids were genetically engineered and stuff, or?
Yeah, the kids will never be able to like live with other humans. That was sad.
Makes sense.
But yeah, it was okay. It was a
Okay.
decent
I
one.
agree. It was just okay. Matter of Honor, that's where Riker goes aboard the Klingon ship as
Oh
the
yeah.
officer exchange program. I really liked that one, especially when he's in the Klingon mess hall eating with the rest of
Yeah.
them, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I know what that is. Isn't that Gok?" And then they give
Mm-hmm.
him Gok, and it's still moving, and he's like, "It's still moving." And they're like, "Oh, Gok is best served when live." And then the females were throwing themselves at him, and he's like, "One or both?" That kind of. It
That
was
was
it
so
was really
cute.
good. So yeah, I like this episode. And then on the Enterprise side, not Mendon, but someone like a Benzite like him beams aboard and assumes that
Oh
he knows
yeah.
everything about the ship.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
It says it was Mendon.
Mendon. Okay, so maybe I got the original name wrong of the other episode where Wesley went to the academy. Anyway,
Yeah.
but yeah, it was an okay episode. I liked the whole Klingon. I liked the whole officer exchange idea.
Mm-hmm. I wish there were more of that. I thought that
Same.
was pretty cool.
Yeah, I like those kind of episodes. The Measure of a Man, arguably one of the best Star Trek episodes, where Data is put on trial. Is he alive?
Yeah.
Because the doctor wanted to. I'm trying to remember his name. It's on the tip of my tongue. Bruce Maddox. Yeah, cyberneticist Commander Bruce Maddox wants to take him apart to better understand him, and Data says no, and he forces him to, and then there's a hearing. And Picard has to prove that Data's alive. Riker has to take the role on the prosecution because there's no one else, and if he doesn't, then it's automatically ruled in the other side's favor. So like Riker was forced to go against Data in this episode, and it was like
Mm-hmm.
all around it was really controversial, and it was one of those psychological and I don't know, it was really cool. What did you think of this one?
I love any episode that is like a court or a trial
You
type
like those
episode.
trial ones, huh?
Mm-hmm. I really do. It brings me back to like the CSI and Law and Order days.
Mm-hmm. Okay, fair
So
enough. Yeah,
yeah.
I love this episode. Excellent
Mm-hmm.
one.
It was very good.
The dolphin. Ugh.
The
That's
dolphin?
where the young woman and the old lady comes on board. Wesley is smitten with the young one, but they're really like these monsters that they can shape.
Oh yeah.
Just no. Just no. No. I could care less about this one. I mean,
I
unless you've
did
got something to say about it.
I didn't mind it. I didn't mind it because she was just a protector, and it's kind of interesting to see the camaraderie that Worf and her had at the end. I thought that was
Yeah,
actually kind of nice.
Worf was like he had high respect for her because of
Hmm.
her, I don't know, her strength or whatever.
Yeah,
Um
I liked the young woman too. Like I thought it was kind of
Romeo and
sad that
Juliet kind of thing.
yeah, and I thought it was sad that she could never really live out her life because she had duties to attend to.
Mhm.
You know. So
Okay.
I don't know. I liked the episode.
All right. I didn't, but I'm glad you did.
Hmm.
Contagion, another episode I liked. This is where the USS Yamato gets blown up. Picard, takes on the mission of the Yamato, and that's to go to the one planet the Yamato was investigating to figure out, is there the Iconians? This is this historic race that we know nothing about, but are super powerful. We can't let the Romulans have any of their technology, but then the Enterprise suffers the same system failures that the Yamato did, and they're trying to figure out what's causing it. And then the Romulans show up, and they're having issues, and
I
Picard's on the
remember.
surface. That was amazing. I love that one. It was like a nail biter from start to finish.
It was okay.
It was just okay.
Yeah, it was fine for me.
Okay.
But
It was one of those episodes where everyone was at risk, and it was just really cool watching it.
it's hard to like picture them really at risk because it's Star Trek. Like I don't think they would kill off Picard or the main characters.
Right. Well, look at
That's
Tasha.
Tasha.
I didn't
Yeah.
exactly. That's why I was like, well, you never know.
Hmm.
The Royale. that was a silly episode where Riker, Data, and Worf get trapped inside a building on this planet, and it's a casino, and it's this astronaut that had died there, and the aliens felt bad and made a first an astronaut crashed there, was stranded. The aliens created this casino building based off of one of the books they had with the astronaut. And the astronaut lived there for 30-some years. It's a badly written book. It was a terrible, building, and it just, anyway. And Picard, or Riker and Worf and Data had to try and get out of the casino by gambling. It was okay. It was not one of my favorites, but it was okay. It was more funny than anything.
This is one of my favorites.
Really? Is it because of the silliness of it?
No, it's actually haunting to me.
The fact that an astronaut had crashed there and aliens had built this horrible, unbeknownst to them, horrible environment for this person to live in.
It's a nightmare, being stuck there forever. It's scary, and I love the casino. The fact that everything is not real or not living. It reminded me of Hotel California or The Shining. Oh my god, the movie The Shining was great, and that just reminded me of it.
Okay, so fair enough.
Dog, what's wrong, dog?
Dog. Is she up your butt?
Yeah, she's been breathing heavy for the past couple.
All right, we'll have to take her out. Okay.
Yeah.
Next on the list is, let's see. Time Squared. That is where a duplicate Picard comes back in time in a shuttlecraft, meets the Enterprise, and the shuttle is all messed up, and their logs indicate that some kind of vortex or something will destroy them in so many hours, and they're trying to figure out how to stop time from repeating itself. I like that one. That was cool. I wish they could have done the whole second Picard thing better.
What's it called? Time Squared?
Time Squared. That's where the duplicate Picard spent most of his time in sickbay, confused and didn't know what was going on.
Oh, yeah, I like that one a lot, actually.
Anything that does with time travel, I really enjoy those ones.
It's a hit or miss for me, honestly. I get anxiety with it, but that one was pretty good because I got to see Picard no, oh my god, I can't believe that's me. It was pretty interesting.
The Icarus factor, I am looking. Riker was offered a command of his own. Oh, this is where Riker's dad comes on board. And they end up fighting in that arena at the end to resolve their differences. That was okay. The B story was Worf is acting funny. Wesley notices, and now they have to create this Klingon ceremony on the holodeck.
Yeah.
That was okay. I liked the whole dad, father, son thing.
I did too. It was a very touching moment, a father-son thing. But it was just a whatever episode for me.
It was one of those episodes that I appreciate more now as a dad than I did as a kid.
Yeah, definitely.
Pen Pals, that was an episode where Data was not supposed to say yes to "Is anyone out there?" He was responding to that young child that was in danger. This planet was being destroyed by these volcanoes, and this little girl was calling for help. He answered it, ends up just revealing himself to her I'm an alien. He beams her aboard, but they end up erasing her memories at the end, so it worked out. But I thought it was a cool little episode. It was a Data story arc kind of thing.
Yeah, that was actually kind of cool. That touches the childhood, I guess. The child in everyone. But that doesn't even sound right. You know
I know.
what I mean?
I know. It's a yeah. I get you. No, I understand.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fun
fact. As a British film and theater actor who hadn't really worked on television before, Patrick Stewart, Picard, wasn't used to people wasting time or laughing on set. Stewart often found himself trying to get his castmates to focus, just like the captain of a ship.
Wow.
Thankfully, Stewart did eventually relax and introduce his own sense of humor onto the set. It just took him a few months to adjust to the very different kind of working environment. So at first, Patrick Stewart was very stiff.
There's a lot of actors like that. Where I know you don't like Seinfeld, but who's that? Kramer. The one with the crazy looking hair.
Yeah. Is he serious?
Yeah. Oh yeah. He
Really?
did not like people laughing on set. He hated it.
Really?
Like, he hated bloopers and stuff like that.
For as crazy of a character he has, that's how do you not laugh at that?
He was it's fine if it was scripted laughter, but if it was like bloopers or something, he would always be really mad.
Wow. Okay, good to know. I don't watch Seinfeld, but I like little stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Next was one of my favorites, Q Who. This is where Picard's like, Q, I don't need you. Stop trying to become part of my ship. Quit asking. And Q's like, no, you have no idea what's out there. Snaps his fingers, sends the Enterprise hurling toward the Delta Quadrant. And this is where they first meet the Borg.
Yeah.
Awesome episode. The Borg are by far the best villains I'd ever seen anywhere. Like, out of every show, every movie I've ever watched, the Borg are probably the scariest. Because they don't kill you, they turn you into them and force you to live a life of, like, you know...
Scary.
It's wow, yeah.
It's like you're conscious the whole time, too, I think. Right?
Yeah, or if you're not, you have no control over it. And, yeah, it's scary.
I have to wonder, though, if they wanted the Ferengi, like, to be the villains, and then the Borg came later on, what would the Ferengi, like, how messed up would the Ferengi be in order to surpass the Borg? Unless the Borg were written after it was
I think the Borg, I think the Ferengi, again, this came, the whole backlash from, I guess, people came as soon as the first Ferengi episode aired. So I think it was long established at this point, and they were looking for an actual villain. And I think the Borg are a much better villain than the Ferengi. I'm just saying.
I did like this episode. I liked it. The Borg, not just because of the Borg, but I really liked it because it kind of snapped Picard back into reality.
Right.
You know, gave him a little bit of humble pie, which was really nice, I think.
I liked that. Like, even though Q is obnoxious, he is really, like, he was trying to help him in a roundabout way. Say, you know what, yeah, sure, you think you know everything. Well, you have no idea what's out here. And I liked that. He was dumping or splashing cold water on his face. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's just so, like, I can't commend Q too much because he killed like a bunch of people in that episode.
Well, the Borg killed them, to be fair.
Yeah, but it was Q's fault ultimately.
Yeah, the Borg sliced open the Enterprise and sucked 20-some people to their deaths. Yeah, that was crazy.
That was sad. And what kind of messed me up, though, like, destroyed my relationship with the character Q, was that he had, like, no remorse over those deaths. Like, he's so selfish.
But he's omnipotent, though. That's the thing. Q's character could care less about one single life. He's all-knowing, you know what I mean? Like, one life, he doesn't care.
But even the rest of the continuum isn't like that, are they?
It depends on the Q. Some Q are respectable, as Guinan said, but the Q that we know, John Delancey, or who did he play in My Little Pony or whatever?
He played Discord.
Discord, of all things. What we're talking on right now, Discord.
He plays the exact same character as the one in Star Trek, Q. It's so hilarious. It's just so funny because now I rewatch those episodes and I'm like, oh my gosh, Q is basically doing what he's doing in Star Trek. He's doing it in My Little Pony.
In My Little Pony, he was an omnipotent know-it-all that had powers?
Yes. He is.
Wait, when was and I gotta know, did Discord on My Little Pony come before Q on Star Trek? Or after? So after. Maybe did the writers of My Little Pony see Q and then like, oh, maybe we should just make a Q character for My Little Pony?
I think after they got John Delancey to voice the character, they just said, okay, well, just be Q.
That's crazy.
It's awesome the way that they work into it.
Anyway, I have never watched My Little Pony, for the record.
He snaps his fingers, makes things appear, and like causes chaos to Ponyville. It's crazy.
Wow. Were you surprised? You've watched My Little Pony before Star Trek. Were you surprised to see John Delancey as Q in this?
When I saw Q,
did you make the connection?
I didn't make the connection. I was like, he sounds so familiar. Who the heck is he? He sounds familiar. And when I finally made the connection, my mind was blown because I was like, oh my god, he's doing the same things like he does in My Little Pony. So I did my research. It was crazy.
I bet you did.
It was so cool.
My Little Pony. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, let's get away from My Little Pony. Yeah.
Top 5. Next podcast, top 5.
Top 5 My Little Pony. No, absolutely not. Mm-hmm. All right. Where are we at now? That was Q Who. Now we're on to an episode that David and I like to quote on a regular basis. So I'll just say these things right now.
Things that make us go.
Mm-hmm.
We look for things. It is broken.
That is what sums up this episode. Jordy gets captured by these people. Riker's like, oh no, there's no risk. Just send him over by himself. No security detail. They're harmless. They take him hostage. They get him back through some stupid. I mean, the whole thing was stupid. Like, I felt like, I don't know, everyone's IQ in this show was equivalent to.
It is broken.
Like, you know what I mean? And then the only cool thing about this show was Picard and Wesley were on the shuttle. Picard was telling the story of how he lost his heart, in that fight with the Nausicaans. That was cool. I liked the Picard-Wesley, interaction. That kind. I liked that part of it. But that whole Samaritan, or the Pack-Leads, I think they're called.
This is one of my favorites.
Really? I mean, I liked it. Don't get me wrong. The villains in this. That's funny.
Things that make us go.
Yeah. How could you not laugh at that?
It's a little bit terrifying though, because if you really think about it, you try to be good to people who are in need of help, but they're capable of so much more. It reminded me of. It reminded me of a news article that I had read recently of a pregnant woman who was in the middle of the road, supposedly bleeding or whatever. She needed help, and when the guy actually got out to help her, he was killed, with a sledgehammer by her boyfriend, and they stole the car.
Wow.
Oh, that actually reminds me of the episode that we saw in that zombie show that we were watching a while back. Black Summer.
Oh, Black Summer. I did not finish watching that because the second season was hard to watch.
Yeah.
I like the first season better, but I digress.
Mm-hmm. It's just that's what it reminds me of. Like, people can seem so innocent, but no matter how their IQ is, they can. In fact, having a low IQ is probably even more dangerous because they probably have no remorse that comes along with it.
We look for things.
Yep.
There you go. I also love
make us go.
I also loved this episode because this is the episode where I thought LaForge was gonna die, and I was like, yeah.
Really? You hate Geordi's character. Why do you hate?
He's just so annoying. I don't understand what Picard sees in him.
At first, I didn't like him because, yes, Reading Rainbow, great, okay? I
love the actor, but I just don't like the character, LaForge.
He was very flippant and flamboyant in the first season. And then the writers of the show, after the show had 15 chief engineers in the first season, because they couldn't decide on anyone.
That's
I'm sorry. Hold on. All right. That's just. Hold on.
Things that make us go.
No, that's not it. There we go. Fun fact. I really don't know how many chief engineers there were, but the first season. My God, every time they called to engineering, a different engineer answered. There was a couple of episodes like Data Lore. There was a bearded guy. I don't remember what his name was, but there was a bearded guy. He looked like, it was red hair, bearded. He was in a couple of episodes. But in The Naked Now, there was the female engineer, and then the bearded guy, and then Chief Engineer Logan was battling with Geordi for control over the Enterprise during Arsenal of Freedom. How many Chief Engineers? They finally...
The woman in The Naked Now, did you already say that?
I said that.
Oh, whoops. I just knew the woman. I don't know their names like you do.
Well, I said woman anyway.
Oh, whoops.
Anyway. But yeah, it's just, my long story short, they finally found a place for LaForge, and they actually toned him down a bit. And I love his overarching, like, friendship with Data. Like, he became Data's best friend. I really like that.
Yeah, that was a good relationship. I just don't like the character. I don't know what it is, but
You just don't like LaForge. Is he too, like, flamboyant, or like?
He's a bit too flamboyant, and I feel like there are times when he has like a little know-it-all attitude to it that I just don't care for.
Mm-hmm.
And he seems a little bit flippant to other crew members sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I feel like they wrote that character to piss me off.
Okay. Good to know. All right. All right. Well, that's that. Up the long ladder. That was the Irish episode where would you wash my feet? Yes. That's the episode. Riker and it washes the feet of this lady. No, I'm kidding. No, it's one of those. You've got one civilization that are clones that can't reproduce anymore. There's only 5 of them, so they pair them with the other part of the colony that's all like farm hands, and they're Irish, whatever.
He washes more than her feet, by the way. Just saying.
Well, yeah. Next, we've got the manhunt. That's where Waxana Troy comes on board to take a husband. Goes to Picard, then to Riker, then to she bounces around the ship. Your favorite part of this episode was what now? I know what it is.
Which one?
When Troy was explaining to Picard the phases of a Betazoid and...
Oh, oh, when Riker looks at her like, what? Like,
Troy's like, a Betazoid woman during the phase quadruples her sex drive. And Troy's like, or more. And then Riker just turns and looks at her like, Right.
Smiles so wide. Yeah. I love that. That was the cutest thing. Mm-hmm. But I liked that episode. I really did.
Yeah, that was a cool one. But it was a little boring, but yeah.
It was. I like how Picard like gets so flustered. It's so cute to see him like that because it's not like him,
He gets uncomfortable all the time. Yeah.
I like uncomfortable Picard. It's the funniest thing.
That was the same way with his the children. Like, he did not want children on the ship. He recognizes their benefits, but he's like, in the very first episode, I forgot to mention this, Encounter at Farpoint, he tells Riker, keep the kids away from me. Just handle them. You know what I mean? Because he doesn't like children. Eventually, he warms up to Wesley, and then through a series of episodes, starts to get more comfortable with children.
Yeah. So I love seeing that journey. That's actually kind of nice.
Mm-hmm. The Emissary is the episode where Kalar comes on board. Worf and her have history together. Worf ends up wanting to marry her. She says no, but they sort of, had relations anyway. There was a plot there. I'm trying to remember. Oh, there was a Klingon vessel where the entire crew was asleep. They woke up and Picard was trying to convince them, or just... They were tasked with convincing the Klingons that no, the Federation and Klingons are no longer at war. But the Klingons wouldn't listen, so they had to come up with a plan. But yeah, that was where they first met Kalar, which was Worf's love interest.
Yeah.
It was okay.
I liked it. I liked seeing his relationship with that woman. Yeah, it's very interesting. Mm-hmm. And I like Worf. He's one of my favorite characters because I don't know, he's so interesting to me. It's so weird.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Did you... I think honestly that Worf was a good choice because it opened the door for a lot of different new story arcs that the original Enterprise, original series couldn't have. Because now you're dealing with Klingons and their histories, and now you're living with a Klingon. Yeah, there were Klingons in the original series, but, now you've got one that's... now Worf is in trouble with his race or whatever, and now he's got to deal with that. Or, how do you balance Federation and Klingon ideals? There was a constant struggle for him. And you saw him, like, advance in his demeanor throughout the show. Mm-hmm.
I wish that they did that with the Ferengi, right? They did that with Quark and Deep Space Nine and
Yeah.
what's his face? The nephew?
Rom?
Nog?
Oh,
Nog?
Nog, yeah.
Nog. I wish they had done that with an Andorian. I wish they had a crew member Andorian like in Voyager or something.
Right. The closest you came to Andorian was Star Trek Enterprise with Scott Bakula.
Yeah.
There was the Andorian Shran, who Jeffrey Combs.
Yep.
The actor Jeffrey Combs. He plays everything on Star Trek. Yeah, he played Wei-Yun on he was Deep Space Nine, but he also played on Enterprise as Shran. But yeah, I get what you're saying. That's as close as we came to an Andorian.
Yeah. I just wish, I've seen it before where an Andorian was a crew member, but I wish there was like a main crew member, kind of like T'Pol was as a Vulcan and Worf was as a Klingon,
That would have been cool. Different races, all, a ship full of different races,
Yeah. Didn't they do that in that one comedy show with Seth MacFarlane?
Yeah, they had what's his face as an ooze, the voice the voice of what's his face?
Peter from Family Guy.
Yeah, he did the he was the Blob or whatever.
Okay.
No. The captain was Peter, right?
Yeah, the
Seth
captain...
MacFarlane was Peter from Family Guy. I was thinking of he's a famous actor that's dead now. I just don't remember who it is. Hold on. Ooze from what's that? What's the name of the show?
Orville.
Orville. I've only seen it once. Norm Macdonald.
Yeah, that's right.
Norm Macdonald played the voice of the Ooze crew member. I liked that. I mean, it was different. You know what I mean? Anyway. Second to last, peak performance. That was a really good episode. I liked it. That's where the Zach Dorn strategist came on board. Riker challenged him to stratagema, lost horribly. Data challenges him through Pulaski's urging, loses. Data questions his performance. Picard snaps him out of it, plays him again, and just beats the pants off of him. And then the main story was there was it was a battle drill. Riker and a skeleton crew goes aboard the Hathaway, and Worf programs the Enterprise sensors to give them false readings, so false ships show up and they get the jump on the Enterprise. That was all cool. And then an actual Ferengi ship comes in and just totally wallops on the Enterprise in the middle of this drill and catches the Enterprise with its pants down, and now they got to figure out how to deal with this Ferengi threat. I don't know. I really liked it. I liked the strategy element and I love that side story, that the B plot as it were, with the whole stratagema thing and Data and and Picard's it's possible to make no mistakes and still lose. That isn't a failing. That's just life. I loved that. I love it. Those episodes where Data's the child and Picard's sort of like the father teaching him these life lessons. I love that stuff.
I don't even remember the A plot. The B plot was where it was at.
You like the B plot? Okay.
Oh yeah, it was great to see Data's little discovery of not being able to beat this guy.
Yeah.
But it was pretty fun.
Last but not least, Shades of Grey. Not really caring about this was the one and only clip show, where you take scenes from previous shows and make them reappear here. It was the season finale of all things. I mean, come on, they could have done way better than that. This is where Riker gets stabbed by a vine on this planet, and he ends up going into a coma, and Pulaski has to
oh, yeah, that's right.
bring out these dreams in him of varying emotions, and certain emotional dreams have an effect on this organism. So she's playing love stuff and hate stuff and fear stuff, and finally they beat it. Stupidest. This was god awful.
I hate recaps like that.
Me
I really
too.
hate recap shows. What I think would have saved it was if Riker actually died.
Wow. Riker, no, sorry.
You know, if George R.R. Martin was hired, I think everybody would die in every single episode.
The crew of the Enterprise would be replaced by a new cast every episode.
Every episode. No, I think if Riker died, I think it would have been a really good finale, to be honest.
It would make for an interesting show where throughout all 7 seasons, this show had a total of 425 captains because they all just kept dying. Like, just, could you imagine, like, just the revolving door of cast in this? This has to happen. I'm sorry. I want George. All right, now I want George R.R. Martin to make a Game of Thrones Star Trek. This has to happen. I'm sorry. This is it.
But you know, though, I could picture like a really good plot of a captain dying, and then like a season later, or a season and a half later, or in the finale, the captain somehow comes back. You know, like from death. Mm-hmm. Kind of like what's his face from Stargate? The Doctor. What's his name?
Oh, Dr. Carson from Atlantis.
Yeah, like he came back technically as a clone, so why couldn't they do that in Star Trek, you know? Mm-hmm. They send the body out to space and then it comes back as a clone because some alien resurrected him or whatever, you know?
I suspect it was more of a Gene Roddenberry thing, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that's true.
Speaking of which, that was the last episode we talked about, so let's just get one more fun fact in here. So, fun fact, when producers brought up the idea of Patrick Stewart auditioning for the part to Star Trek, Gene Roddenberry rejected Stewart on the spot, saying that he envisioned a younger actor with a full head of hair in the role. Determined not to miss out, Stewart had his wig express shipped to his hotel in America, and went on to hugely impress Gene Roddenberry at the audition. That should have been the story's happy ending, but there was another ironic twist. Star Trek's other producers said that they would only be happy with Stewart playing the role if he ditched the dreadful wig and simply went bald.
Awesome.
Yeah. So, yeah, there you go, folks. That was seasons 1 and 2. I did say we would do 3 seasons, but I think that's plenty for today. Maybe this will be a 3 or 4-parter. We'll see. I don't know. We're going to wing it. Apologies for the next couple of months. Maybe we'll break it up with something different in the meantime as we see fit. Maybe we'll do a bonus podcast mid-March if we have the time. Who knows? Hey, but along those lines, the more you donate and the more you support us, the more content we can pump out. So, by all means, Patreon people, I love you. You've been supporting me for a long time. You're great. But those of you that aren't supporting me right now, please do. I'm not working. I'm not begging or anything. If you can totally help out, that would be appreciated. Any little bit helps. So yeah, the more you help us out, the more we can give back to you, is all I'm saying. Patreon, Twitch, YouTube's the best way to do that. We'll go ahead and move on to the Spanish sentence of the month at this point. Let's go ahead and do that. And we need the appropriate sound effect. So let's see here.
Proceed.
No.
Direction unclear.
He's dead.
No.
I'm immortal again.
Close. There we go. Okay, so she's created this sentence for me. I have to try and translate it. Hoy ya es ayer ya es hoy. Yo ya llego el día y hoy es hoy. The last 3 months, she's tortured me with these stupid tongue twisters. She thinks she's being clever.
It's not bad. You did great.
Did any Spaniard say this?
Yeah.
When?
It just, I don't know, randomly.
So if I go to a Spaniard and say this, go like, oh yeah. Claro que sé. They would say that.
They'd be like, yeah, sure. This is a philosophy line. It's like a Star Trek line.
I see.
But for the record, the H is silent.
Oi. Mm-hmm. Oi ya. Oi. Oi. Oi ya. Ayer, E, Ayer, Ya, S, Oi.
Ayer.
Ayer.
No, ayer. Ayer.
Juego is go, right?
No, llego. Llego is
Play? No, wait. I get play. Wait.
Juego
Jugar is to play.
Yeah.
So
juego is game.
Yeah, this one?
No. The
what
juego is Juego. This is llego or llego, which is arriving or to come.
Well, the only word I know is dia, which is day, and E, which is and S, which is. But I don't know what oi is.
Oi.
Oi!
Right.
Oi!
Yeah.
It's Italian. Oi!
I'll give you a hint.
Play.
Oi is very similar to ahora.
Ahora is now, right?
Yes.
So, later?
No.
Hasta mañana. Hasta is later, right?
Hoy is today.
Today. So today, yeah. What's ya? Yeah. I feel like I'm Viking all of a sudden.
Sorry, it made me laugh. Yeah.
Yeah. When I click on a unit in Age of Empires, I feel like they're saying yeah. Like that's what yeah. So wait, today is it I? No. No.
Today,
yo is I.
Hoy ya es like it's
Just read the sentence for me, please. Put me out of my misery.
Hoy ya es ayer y ayer ya es hoy. Ya llegó el día y hoy es hoy. Which means today is yesterday and yesterday is today. The day has come and today is today.
Shut up, Wesley.
No one would say that. No one.
It's a philosophy. Yes, they would. Today is yesterday.
You do realize I don't speak Spanish. Give me words I know.
Okay, all right. Now I can give you the oi word and you'll know it.
No, I won't.
What am I gonna put? Pantalones, trabajo, juego.
Pantalones, piso mojado. Wet floor. I know that one.
All right, I'll give you like a sentence that has all your familiar words, and I'll put in a new word.
One new word.
One new word that connects to all the words that you do know. Okay. For the next podcast.
All right, hold on.
Do not hug me.
I gotta wait, hold on. Sorry, I gotta close this out. There. All right, done. So I know I skipped over the Patreon and Twitch subscribers. The numbers are not in yet from Patreon, so I will cut that in right here. All right, so the money finally came in on the Patreon side, so we're going to go ahead and read off the names of those Patreon supporters and the amount they contributed, starting with Ratsies, pledged $135 this month for a lifetime of 5,120. That is amazing. Scotty R pledged $100 for a lifetime of 2,910. Also, big thumbs up. Thank you very much. Brian pledged $50 for a lifetime of 1,100. Again, I was expecting $1 or $2 here or there from folks. The amount that these three have contributed, be on the lookout for keys. I'll be sending those out shortly as a thank you, as usual. Greg Howe pledged $10 for a lifetime of 562. Another big spender. I do appreciate that. Mind a Lot pledged $5 for a lifetime of 150. Mind a Lot's been around for quite a while now. Rip Alpha, $1 for a lifetime of 59, and I think that's the common trend there. $59. That's a long time at $1 a month. So thank you for your continued support. That's really nice. And then Alyssa Barrett pledged $1 for a lifetime of 18. I helped promote her game on my YouTube channel, and she's been kind enough to actually contribute. So thank you so much, Alyssa. That's wonderful. Moving on to my Twitch folks. I don't have the amount you subscribe to. I think it's just $5 a month. White Knight has been subscribed now for 47 consecutive months. It's awesome. Bessa702, 45 months. Little Lily P, 15 months. Rapid Amoeba, 16 months. And It's Joker, 2 months. So thank you all for your contributions. It is very much appreciated. Now back to your regularly scheduled podcast. Okay, so now we're back. Thanks for watching that bit. We are going to close out the show now. Thank you so much for watching. And again, please support wherever possible, especially now. We would really appreciate it. This is Vince. Yes.
Oh,
yes.
real quick. For anyone curious to know what I'm drinking, this is a fruit smoothie. I just blended in banana, pineapple, and peaches. Blended it all in together with some water and a little bit of orange juice. It's amazing. It's absolutely delicious.
I meant that one. Sorry, not. I meant that. Yes. All right. There we go. This is Vince and Idly. Thanks for watching, and we will catch you guys next time. Take care.